given me the blessing to proceed with the introduction of the discussant. So as I call, we'll just make the applaud back to back. First on the list, please welcome Mr. Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Joining him also, Professor Mike Ozekome San, SAN. Adiza Bala Usman. That's the essay to the president. Professor Sir Chris Ogbeche. Please put your hands together for him. And of course, we have Very Reverend Father Raymond Anoliefo. And now leave us in the hands of the moderator.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the organizers. Sorry, MC.
So would like to appeal to men of the media to please have a limited movement within the hall.
Thank you to the organizers of this event, and like we always say, we want to stand on existing protocol, but we are all seated here, so we'll sit on the existing protocol. And you see, listening to, sorry, the mic. When I was told that His Grace Bishop Kuka will be delivering his keynote address online, I'm not a fan of online delivery. But for somebody like Bishop Kuka, whether online, offline, you will agree with me that it's almost as if he's there with you, intellectually stimulating, and it is because of people like that some of us went to school. Because we want to speak like them, we want to talk like them. And I am also privileged here to sit down with some of those lawyers that inspired us to read law. And those days, I remember as a child when Professor Mike Ozekome got married, the entire Agenebude town was agog that one of our illustrious sons was getting married. And I told myself then I must be a lawyer. Chief Femi Falana is somebody who will always, Chief Femi Falana, Chief Gani Fayemi. No, sir, I've given you one. These are people we admire. And so, as a lawyer, people you have worked with, and you are privileged to put it to them. So, today I will be putting it to them. Adiza Bala Usman, the name rings a bell, actually. If you remember Dr. Bala Usman, Shegwa Shoba, and then Prof here. But without wasting your time, I would go straight to the meat. A lot of people are expecting me to break tables here, but I won't. I will try not to break tables. So we'll start with my Ebo, my Oga, Mr. Femi Falana, SAN. He will speak to the paper presented by His Grace, and then also talk about the Nigerian state. He will speak briefly to the paper and then talk about the deficit of national cohesion in Nigeria occasioned by ethno-religious pluralism, just in 7 minutes. And like I always do, I have my timer. Sir, 7 minutes, and your time starts now.
Well, my Lord, the Archbishop of the Lagos Metropolitan City, I congratulate you. I was privileged to have delivered a paper on your 50th birthday at Abeokuta. Unfortunately, our country has not left where it was when you turn 50. But I do pray that before you move on, we'll find our route Our people are united by poverty and oppression. And I'm talking of the people, ordinary people. The rich are also united in looting the treasury of our country. The members of the ruling class take advantage of the ignorance of our people to keep them divided along religious and ethnic lines. While they play our people against each other, they are busy cornering the Commonwealth. The majority of political leaders in Nigeria do not believe in God. I say it again. Majority of political leaders in Nigeria, even though claim to be Christians and Muslims, they do not believe in any God. I mean, take, for instance, the seventh commandment is, thou shalt not steal. Two ex-governors have been charged by the EFCC in the last 3 months. One, a professed Muslim, accused of stealing 80 billion naira in a poor state. The other one, a professed Christian, has just been charged with stealing 27 billion naira. I'm not saying they have been convicted. They are still presumed innocent. But the point I am making, these figures are being reeled out when some of our people go to bed on empty stomach because of grinding poverty. And so people will then continue to deceive us and even insult our people, insult the poor. And some of those who do this are religious leaders. A university has just imposed skyrocketing school fees on students. A private university owned by a church, to stop students and parents from protesting. The proprietor said in Nigeria, it was Jesus Christ that directed me to increase the fees. And anybody who challenges me will be challenging the Almighty God. I know Jesus Christ could never, ever have supported the increase of fees to the extent that the children of the poor cannot access education. Our prosperity priests and religious leaders conveniently forget the visit, that famous visit of Jesus Christ to the synagogue, where he saw traders, bureau de change people in the synagogue. And Jesus Christ chased them out of the synagogue and said, thou shalt not convert my father's house into a den of robbers. Another man of God said a couple of days ago, anybody who does not pay tithe will not make heaven. In a poverty-stricken environment, happily, because of the attack on such a statement, the highly respected religious leader, an intellectual for that matter, a professor of mathematics, has withdrawn the statement happily. Again, if he hadn't done that, many people would have left that particular religious institution. The point I'm making, just like politicians are deceiving our people, some religious leaders are also deceiving our people. Talking about tithe, I just watched a video, I think in Akwa Ibom, where a Catholic priest, and he could only have been a Catholic priest, came out
to ask people, anybody in the church who can contribute up to 5,000 naira. Those who could do that came out. And he also asked the people, if you are so poor that you do not have 5,000 naira, come out. And so those who contributed the money were asked to give it to the poor. Our country is in trouble. Not because of poverty. Quote me, our country is rich. Very rich. But the poverty of ideas of our leaders has reduced our country to a country of beggars. Going around chasing loans. You know, somebody has just opened a refinery here. I'm sure you are aware. The largest refinery in the world. Our government has been fighting the owner to the extent that they are now fixing the prices. Meanwhile, your own have been abandoned. Dangote refinery, 650,000 barrels per day. Our own, 450,000 barrels per day. We should be competing. But what has happened to our own? And I'm challenging our religious leaders here. We must, like Bishop Kuti is talking about, Bishop Kuka, it's about political economy. You can't separate politics from economy. Bala Usman wrote about it. Bala Usman wrote about the manipulation of religion. 1987, 77 to 87. A book you can Google. And he said in that book that our leaders claim to be Christians and Muslims, but they are not religious. And it has not changed. The point I'm making, therefore, is that our own foreign refineries, $2.9 billion was earmarked by the Buhari administration to fix our foreign refinery. I say here publicly, based on the information at my disposal, the money has been criminally diverted. And therefore, all of us as Nigerians must unite our people to demand for their rights. Our people must protest. Our people must struggle against the government, against poverty. Please, you can have your microphone.
I'm demanding for the mic. At this stage, I demand for the microphone. And I will come back. Let us see. I will, after this round of 7 minutes, I will take 3 minutes to question each and every one of the panelists. And thereafter, I will take a few questions from the audience. So we'll come back. Prof. Chief Akpapa Vigi. You speak briefly on the evaluation of Nigerian political leadership since 1960 and rhythm of corruption. I know you have a presentation, but just speak briefly on this presentation before I come to. Prof is always writing. Sometimes he sends me write-ups at about 1 a.m. I say, this man not sleep. So your time also starts now.
Prof, you have the mic.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me very well? Wow. Thank you very much. Let me congratulate Archbishop for organizing this very important occasion. And let me thank my brother and the Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Bishop Hassan Matukuka. I call him the activist of the pulpit. I told him to forward one of my 50 books that I'm launching on the 17th of this month. The title was Religion is an Opium of the Masses. He called me and corrected me and said, no, you can't be conclusive to say religion is an opium of the masses. Rather, you should ask the question, is religion an opium of the masses. And that was how I changed the title of that book out of my 50 books that I'm launching on the 17th of this month. Corruption, corruption, corruption. It's been here even from the time of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. It was due to corruption that Adam ate of the forbidden fruit, and God got angry with him and Eve and drove them out of the Garden of Eden. Corruption is not just the giving and taking of money. Acts of prebendalism, cronyism, favoritism, sectionalism, tribalism, in running a government by appointing people who are not fit for certain positions just because they are from your tribe or your religion or your former classmates, is even a bigger corruption than the giving of money in terms of bribery. And I tell you one thing, corruption has been with us even in the First Republic, when as far back as 1944, the great Zik of Africa, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, was accused of corruption, of setting up his friends to buy over the African Continental Bank. Ladoke Akintola was investigated. The same with Amadou Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, the first generation. Even Awolowo himself, the late sage, all of them. And when Chukwuma led the first military purge in Nigeria on the 15th of January 1966, Ladoke Akintola was investigated. The same with Amadou Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, the first generation. Even Awolowo himself, the late sage, all of them. And when Major Kaduna Uzogu Chukwuma led the first military purge in Nigeria on the 15th of January 1966, his major thesis was based on corruption. Say our enemies are the 10%ers, those that will make the country look big for nothing before international cycles. I tell you, where the young major was saying 10%, today in Nigeria, corruption has so graduated, having doctorate degree, even professorship, that nobody is talking about 10% again. We are talking about 50 to 60%. So when a job is given, you have to first pay 50 to 60%. It is the remaining part of the money that you are going to use in doing that. There was corruption under the Gowonian regime. And he once said that Nigeria was so rich that the problem was not making money, but how to use the money. Corruption was there during Murtala Mohammed government, Obasanjo government, all of them. The Halliburton, the cement armada of 1975, the various panels set up, people who have been jailed for corruption, but it is still graduating. And I tell you one thing, and that is where I may have a slightly different perception from our lead speaker, Bishop Matthew Kuka. A constitution is very important. I was one of the patrons who met with the president roughly 2 months ago. And I wrote the paper for the patrons where we demand for a brand new constitution that should be subjected to referendum of the people. The president's own answer was that he thinks fixing the economy was more important. No, Mr. President, it can be more important. Because if you are having a superstructure that is fundamentally flawed, every other thing coming there will not work. So it's not a question of the chicken and the egg, which comes first. If you bring it to that question, I will say a good new constitution that the people believe in and accept as their document is more important, because it will lead to the fixing of other problems. It's like the biblical injunction: seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing shall be added. The American example he gave is a perfect example. When the 50 wise men met in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, they already had their individual confederates, but they went there to have a more perfect union. 39 of them signed the document and subjected it to a referendum of the people. It was that conference that threw up the great federalists: Alexander Hamilton, Thomas Jefferson, Washington, after whom Washington DC is known. That constitution, with only 7,591 words and 27 amendments, has been tested since 1787, because it was bought by the people. The Asian tigers, Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, all of them had their own autochthonous homegrown constitutions, which they subjected to the people in a referendum, the type that was done by the Midwest region on the 10th of August 1963, when they were excised from Western region. So I want to say that across the world, the most progressive countries are those countries that started from brass tacks by giving them, their people, a brand new constitution. Not the present constitution we are operating, which is decree number 24, an attachment to decree number 24 of 1999. We must go back to brass tacks. If you are going on a journey from Lagos and you want to get to Abuja, we know how you must go on that journey. But if you are going to Abuja and you start going to Ore, from there to Benin, to Warri, then you start going from there to Bayelsa, you are not going to Abuja. You must have to retrace your steps to be able to get to Abuja. That is where I want to say that I slightly disagree with him. Thank you.
Yes, it's getting very interesting. I like the fact that we're having disagreement, not that His Grace just delivered the paper and everybody concur like go on. So we're having disagreement, and even though the panel is not gender balance, I would have loved to see a more gender balanced panel. But I know that Hadiza Bala Usman is equal to the 4 men here. Yeah. She's one person when not agree. If you talk 1, she will talk 7. But she's to speak briefly on policy reforms and coordination. But in speaking on that, I want to ask you, are you corrupt? Because she's the only government person here now.
Thank you very much. I would like to lend my voice to congratulating the Catholic Herald for attaining 100 years of publication. Congratulations on that, and I'll further appreciate you for having this event and having this strong panel to deliberate on an excellent presentation that has been made by the keynote speaker. On that note, I'll quickly proceed to speak to certain aspects of a presentation that talks to governance, that speak to the aspects that are applicable to us. One of the important points that was mentioned in the speech by Bishop Kuka spoke about the need for a quality of our bureaucracy. The strength of delivery of any governance reform is around the quality of bureaucracy we have. Our president has been very clear on the fact that our bureaucracy needs to be strengthened. In so doing, he has mandated all our permanent secretaries to be part of the signing of performance bonds for delivery across ministries. He has also deemed it fit to ensure that all directors, assistant directors across ministries also have clear performance agreements that they sign. which speaks to the understanding of the need to ensure the quality of our bureaucracy is where the delivery of governance sits. We also recognize the need for political stability to ensure that democracy and development is attained. Without political stability, there will not be development. So we need to understand and appreciate the fact that there's a need for us to provide the necessary support for the duly elected governance to enable them perform their duties. Any concerns around governance, any around political considerations should be through the ballot box, where people should note that activism recognizes the process of ascension to political leadership. And that political leadership needs to be done through a democratic process that Nigeria has subscribed itself to. So I encourage all of us that are within the realm of being activists, that are within the realm of civil society, that are across all spheres of political space, to get themselves actively involved in politics. So for so long as we allow who we perceive to be the corrupt people within our society, who we perceive to be the weakest part of our society, to dominate our political discourse, we would always have a system that is skewed against those of us that are technocratic, those of us that believe in quality of governance. So sitting as armchair critics to make assertions around political leadership is what I feel all of us should shy away from. Come into the trenches, challenge political process through the ballot, and cast your vote and remain within the political sphere and ensure that your voice is heard, and your voice is heard within the political space as recognized within our constitution. I'll speak to the need for policy coordination and enhancement, whereby our government has recognized that it is imperative for us to ensure that there's enhancement of coordination, which speaks to having our ministers being held accountable, which speaks to the fact that for the first time in Nigeria, we have all the deliverables of every minister being in the public space. So we're able to see what is it that our Minister of Aviation is required to do for us, what is it that our Minister of Health is required to do for us. And within that, you're also able to see the clear indicators that this minister is going to be measured on, and you're able to contribute to that. So that is an inclusive governance. That is a governance that recognizes the value and contribution of citizens. That is a government that notes that indeed citizens brought this government to power, and citizens would be part of assessing what the government has done. So I would like to reiterate that our government has been very clear on that, and to call on every one of us to participate and draw our attentions to that. Mr. President is someone that is very keen on ensuring that citizens are carried along, so much so that he has mandated all ministers as part of their assessment to hold stakeholder consultations every quarter within their sector. So he assesses them on how much they're engaging with people. How much are you talking to Nigerians that elected you to communicate what it is that you're doing for the public? We also recognize the need for us as a government to lay clearly where we have erred. Mr. President always speaks to the fact that he is human, and we as a government are human. Where we err, we step back, assess it, and withdraw. A lot of you would have seen policies that were unclear, policies that we had promoted and put out in the public space. But in engaging with the citizens, we realize that that policy, there's some aspect of overlaps, there's some aspect of incoherence, and the government has immediately withdrawn them. And that is a government that is responsive, that is a government that recognizes the value of citizen engagement, and that is a government that is not ashamed to trace its steps back and to recognize that, oh, by the way, I may have gone forward, but this is not sitting well with the citizens, and this is a questionable policy position that I've taken, and is able to walk back. And that type of government is a government that recognizes the value of citizens and recognizes the strength and thrust of communication and engagement. I'll further expatiate on our policy enhancement. The federal government has noted the gaps that exist between its relationship with federal government and subnationals. We also note that the strength of our development as a nation sits with our subnationals. Our subnationals are our state governments and our local government councils, which is why we are promoting and pushing, strengthening our local governments and ensuring that there is autonomy for local government, and also noting the aspects that sit with state governments, whereby state governments have clear responsibility on our education and our education systems, clear responsibility within our health value system, and those are areas that actually touch the lives of citizens. And we want citizens to note where those obligations sit and where the implementation of those policies reside. So when you're looking how much traction you've made as a government in agriculture, how much you've made as a government in education and healthcare, you should know that these are areas that the subnationals hold a larger chunk of what is required to move economic growth, to move development. And we call on our citizens to hold us accountable as federal government, as state governments, and as local government councils. I would like to also note that our government has been very clear on understanding the nucleus of where growth is, looking to see that we've noted and acknowledged the regional development commissions that have been recently passed by the National Assembly. Mr. President has graciously assented to the establishment of those commissions, which is in recognition of the fact that we have our peculiarities as regions, we have our peculiarities in terms of our deployment of resources across geopolitical regions. And those commissions will strengthen our inroad as federal government and strengthen our capacity for deployment when we recognize the fact that those regional development commissions are keen and are sitting within the space of the Nigerian citizens. So on that note, I've been told my 7 minutes are over.
Yes.
So I'll hand over the microphone and to thank everyone for patience in listening to us. Thank you.
Chief. Thank you. Okay.
Please, it is not yet time for group discussion, if at all there will be. We just want to appeal to you to please pay attention to our panelists. Please, let us tone down the conversations we're having privately, please. Thank you.
I wanted to also say that the conversations is like there's another panel on this side. Please. Like I said, a round of applause for Hadiza Bala Usman. She was able to pack in everything that government is doing in that 7 minutes. She took more than she said much more than others within 7 minutes. But I have 2 questions from there. But when we come to the round of questions, I will. I hope I should be able to ask my question. Now, our doctor of letters. I'm giving you a doctor of letters, Sir Chris. So, Sir Chris, within 7 minutes also, please speak to the paper and then also briefly on addressing inequality and socioeconomic disparity to achieving socially cohesive and united Nigeria. Your time is starting very soon. To achieve a united, socially cohesive.
Thank you very much. I would like to acknowledge the distinguished panelists, our guest speaker, Most Reverend Dr. Matthew Kuka, and the organizers for putting together this important event. It's a privilege to be part of the celebration of the Catholic Herald's 100-year journey. I must confess, at some stage I also was involved with Catholic Herald during the tenure of Monsignor Gabriel Osu. Our guest speaker said that nation building is a marathon race. I agree with him on that. But if you plan to run a marathon, you also want to complete that marathon. So to succeed, you must plan. Today, we have disparity in our country. Disparity in terms of social and economic, and it's one of the greatest threats to our national cohesion. And this disparity can be traced to some of the policy choices we made in the past, which is biting us now. And one of such policy choices is the takeover of schools about 50 years ago. And we're paying the price for it. Socioeconomic disparity can be traced, can be redeemed through education. And today, as a country, we are facing serious education crisis. And since we have both the federal government and the state government represented here, it's important for us today to declare a state of emergency in that sector. If we can fix education, we can start addressing the issue of socio-economic disparity. To show how serious it is, sometime in 2017, a report showed that the 5 richest Nigerians can actually bring 117 million Nigerians out of the poverty level. 98% of bank account holders, and today if we look at our BVN, about 40 million, 98% of them have monthly balance that is less than 500,000 naira, which means 2% account for the bulk of the deposits in the banks. That again shows how serious this inequality is. To move forward, we must focus on inclusive economic growth. We cannot talk of economic growth if we cannot develop education. Our guest speaker said something about government policy and how it has affected our development, and suggested something, that government should allow faith-based institutions to own TV stations and radio stations. I'd like to move in that direction and say today, how can faith-based organizations and individuals be encouraged to set up educational institutions? It's a shame that government is expected to provide education to its citizens. And yet, if you want to set up a school or education institution, you find it difficult to get land from government. You have to pay a lot. Even where you succeed in paying, you are faced with various taxes. Even the signboard showing the name of the school or the institution is subject to one form of tax or the other. So if we really want to pursue and solve the problem of education, government should provide 3 things. 1, land, and partner with faith-based organizations like the Catholic Church. 2nd, they should abolish all form of taxes on education institutions. 3rd, they should abolish all form of tariffs or taxes on education equipment and books. And 4th, they should actually provide grants to education institutions based on the performance of those institutions. We can even make more progress in bridging the inequality by encouraging the young people in 2 areas. 1, agriculture. Agriculture should be made attractive to the younger ones. Today, the average age of Nigerian farmer is over 50. Technology is what these young ones are familiar with. If we can encourage them into agriculture, because we're already blessed with land, fertile land, I hear that government provide fertilizer and other things to others. Who are those receiving that? Second way of encouraging these young ones is through entrepreneurship. Our education should stress not just the quality, but employability, but at the same time, getting them to think of being entrepreneurs. But to become an entrepreneur in Nigeria requires a lot. Not just your ideas, but access to funds, access to finance. We are in a situation where SMEs, small businesses, are dying because they cannot afford or they don't have access to funds. How can we make it easy and possible for them? If we really want to engage the young ones, because over 70% of our population is under 30. If we cannot resolve that issue of engaging them in terms of entrepreneurship, education, and agriculture, we will continue to have this situation of social, economic inequalities.
Thank you very much, sir. I will come back to that, your agriculture, because agriculture without processing is poverty. You don't tell a young man who is into internet and to go into farming, and there is no room for processing. But we'll come to that, because I'll bring the question back to you. Because of time, and then because as the panel is, I note down questions before I get to the audience. So, Father, I would have, but anyway, since I have opportunity of asking you the question, so I would still work with the question they said I should ask you, because mine will be different. Briefly, taking the bull, you have to speak to the paper, then taking the bull by the horn, profiling the way forward to nationhood. After you, I will come back again, because I really want to question this nationhood, sovereignty, states. I need to understand all of this within the context of the two learned senior advocates I have here. It's not every day you have them together like this. So, Father, please permit me, as I hand you over the microphone, your time starts now.
Thank you very much. We sit on the existing protocols. Taking the bulls by the horn, preferring the way forward to nationhood. While listening to other panelists, especially Madam Hadiza, it dawned on me that the whole question or the subject of nationhood, that if we look at it within the context of our Nigerian situation, I think we are very far from El Dorado. We are far from what we desire for ourselves. Let me first of all look at it from this perspective, a way forward. How do we become a nation? We first of all begin to talk about citizenship. If our constitution that talks about citizenship and in the same breath you talk about indigenship, I think with that, or in that space, there is a bit of a contradiction. If we have to talk about citizenship and then still talk about indigenship. I was in Abuja sometime last week, and I had something to do at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And while I got to the office to process, this was of course coming from the thought of what Madam Hadiza said, and some of the convoluting situation we have in civil service and what have you. I just discovered that our journey, the marathon journey to El Dorado, to nationhood, we seem not to have started. At the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there were 4 tables that were lined up in front of me. From table 1 to table 4, we're practically doing one and the same thing. And I asked myself, could we not have automated this system, that I'll sit back here in Lagos and go on the system and do what I needed to do without having to come here? And then while I was there, you moved from table A to table B. In fact, the table B was the funniest. I was given a sheet to go out and make photocopy, and I thought it was for my own document. And they said the photocopy was for them, that they have run out of paper. So I had to go and make photocopy for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I told them that they were owing me, and they said it is the Mr. President that will have to go and confront to pay me the money I used to make photocopy. Now you see, there's a whole lot of problem with all of this. And when you look at the Nigerian question, what is the way forward? What is the way forward? What can the church do? Before we look at what the church can do, I remember while I was still studying philosophy, there was this man called Friedrich Nietzsche who talks about a transvaluation of values. But I'll not be taking it from Nietzsche's own perspective of transvaluation of values, but more from the Christian perspective or the Catholic perspective. I think we have a confusion in our system, in our country, that there is a need for a reorientation. Our value systems have been eroded almost completely. Many years ago, if I stand to be corrected, I think it was General Yakubu Gowon who said the problem with Nigeria is a problem of dysfunctional family systems and values. Now, if we look at it from that point of view, when the foundation is wrong and bad, it says, what can the just do? What do we hope to what do we expect when our very foundation is deplorable? We have a system in this country that is abhorrent to meritocracy and accountability. The average Nigerian abhors accountability. I'm not going to particularize it with politician or anybody. The average Nigerian, if you send your driver or a staff to the filling station to get you fuel and tell him to come with receipt, you say, "Oga, no trust me." If you ask somebody, the husbands who are here, if you send your wife, you give your wife money to go to the market, and then you tell her to account for the money, I'm sure the crisis in Israel and Hezbollah will just be child's play. Nobody wants to give an account. Accountability is not part and parcel of what we do. So basically, what you see, especially in this current administration, and not only this administration, since the turn of democracy, is loyalism. People are appointed to political offices or to not on any merit, not because we have tested them. We heard what the keynote speaker, Bishop Kuka, said about appointment into offices, even in Singapore. You are appointed and it takes you another 1 or 2 years before you even assume office, because there will be a lot of background checks. And that is why we want to become like Singapore. We look at these beautiful nations, but we are not ready to do the work. We are not ready to do the work because we do not believe in meritocracy. We do not believe in transparency. We don't believe in accountability. We only believe in loyalism. The president is definitely going to appoint those that have been loyal to him, those who have won elections for him, those who have done all sorts. And what is the way forward out of this conundrum? I think one of the way forward will be that there is need for us to go back to the drawing board. The system that brings up these political office holders, the system that brings it in. And I think that's where election comes in. Adiza said a lot of wonderful things. But I was an observer in the last election. We'll be kidding ourselves if we say that our country is moving well. In the last election, broken bottles were thrown at me, even though I was in my full regalia as a priest. And I was told, what is my business? What is the business of a reverend father and INEC? Bishop Kuka said because he's bishop, he will take 5 minutes. Because some father will take 1 second. Now, they say, what's my business with the election? So if you want the citizens to participate, we saw what happened. And you cannot tell me you cannot get into power through this means and expect to use the power for something good. So if we are expecting that after these beautiful sessions we are going to have and this talk shop, Nigeria will get better. I am an optimist, but I think I'll be...
We'll start with our sister, the only government person here. Because they've been so much about government. So I will start with her. She would have opportunity to at least just punch us some of the things that have been said here. And then some of the issues that were raised, she can note. But my question is this. Last week, or sometimes early this week, the news broke that the president was going to change ministers. And I asked the question. I asked random questions. Who should stay and who should go? And somebody asked me, somebody said, go and ask Hadiza Bala Usman. She's the one that is evaluating all the ministers. And that, that is her job. It was actually a reporter on AIT that said, go ask Hadiza Bala Usman that it's her job to evaluate ministers. She knows who should go and who should stay. But I asked Nigerians, and I can tell you that the list of ministers that should go will marvel you. Almost all Nigerians feel these people should go. But my question to you is this. Mr. President, in his October 1st address said, I feel your pain. But even though he is feeling a pain, it's not part of the pain, because we still see retinue of cars. The ostentatious lifestyle is still there. You still see government reckless lifestyle. Do you think that with this number bogus ministers that we have, we can actually, you can actually feel the pain of Nigeria? Don't you think a leaner list of ministers can even achieve more, talking about turning around the economy instead of the constitution? So, assessing the ministers, do you think we still need this number of ministers? And if we do not need, I won't ask you to name who should see. Do you think we still need these numbers? And don't you think that a leaner one would achieve more than these bogus ones that, I can give you names, but I don't need you to mention names.
Thank you very much for raising this very topical conversation that has been going around in the last few weeks. The first aspect of your question speaks to the size of the cabinet and why it's that way and how effective is that in governance. I would like to recognize that one of the things we seek to do in our administration is to have focus and line of sight on specific issues, which means that we need to have granular and smaller units of accountability. That way you're able to hold people specifically accountable to a particular sector that speaks to what they're doing. The need for us to break down and unbundle ministries and have more ministers being held accountable to specific things is why we have the sense that we have a larger number of ministries. That is because we recognize that having someone being held accountable for specific things would get you more work. If you recall, we had a ministry which had a Ministry of Power, Works and Housing at some point, and we had a whole session of concerns and criticism around the fact that that is a very huge ministry. And forward in that regard, we're able to unbundle it into smaller units. So recognizing that larger spheres of control may not necessarily lead to development, but smaller nucleuses where people are directly held accountable for what they're required to deliver is what informed the reason why we have a larger number of ministers that are put to specific tasks and they're held accountable to those specific functions. I would like to also add that in our administration, our ministers of state are held accountable for the agencies that are under them. So when you have a minister of state that is working with another minister, there are specific mandates and agencies that are under that minister. And that minister of state is required to report on performance and delivery of those specific tasks that have been so assigned to him. So which speaks to the fact that it's not that we have a myriad of ministers all running around doing the same things. No, we have them being specific and held accountable for that. So the current reality, when you speak to
feeling our pains.
So no, of course, in feeling your pain is to ensure that economic growth is brought to you. So to feel your pain and not deliver on the mandate on improving the livelihood of Nigerians is what we seek to do. If it means having a larger number of hands and boots on the ground to deliver on improving on those initiatives is what we need to do. So recognizing our pains is what our government is looking to reduce cost of governance. By reducing cost of governance, we have reduced X number of agencies, we have done mergers of agencies, we have reduced all of that. This is the only administration in the last 13 years that has sought to acknowledge and approve recommendations around mergers of agencies from the Orasanya panel. So you have to recognize our administration knows the need to have a slimmer, more effective government, but at the same time it recognizes the need to have more people and more boots on the ground, more hands on the work to ensure that there's delivery and performance on specific areas. When you mentioned the issue of the performance and delivery of ministers and imminent cabinet reshuffle, I would like to speak to the fact that historically administrations are held at midterm. We've had we typically in the Nigerian political space and governance, we have a midterm review where an administration at the middle of its tenure, which is after 2 years, it typically does a cabinet reshuffle. So to have Nigerians and indeed everybody come out in arms looking at a cabinet reshuffle, requesting and putting pressure on administration is what I think we're not being fair on Mr. President and we're not being fair on administration, because typically it's a midterm review we have. But at the point of end of our 1 year, we have seen people speak about that. So the onus is on Mr. President to see how he can move around certain people, recognize round holes and round pegs, pick out other square pegs outside to bring them in. But the onus is on him. The tremendous pressure we see when we haven't reached our midterm is what I would like to speak to and say that we will do our cabinet reshuffle as at when we deem necessary. But the fact that the historical trajectory is that administration do cabinet reshuffle at midterm after year 2 of having been in office. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Maybe outside of this place, I will engage you further. But I have your number, so I will do that. So now I will, before I come to Femi Falana, because I will give you more time, but let me also engage Prof on the question of a constitution. You talked about drafting a new constitution that is people-oriented, that the current one is a schedule to a decree. But the keynote speaker talked about the problems associated with the drafting, the politics of drafting the constitution itself. You were a member of the last constituent assembly or so, and we saw the politics of the North and South. And there's this belief that local government autonomy is not viable or is not allowed to take root, because when you have a glutton in the family, he would insist that you eat together because he knows he will eat more. So that some persons in Nigeria, no matter how beautiful this idea of regionalism is all about, that some persons will never allow it to fly. Because in Nigeria today, you don't need to know anything to become a governor. All you just need is, once you are asked to come and go, you go. You wait for allocation to come. Even if you meet empty treasury, you wait for allocation to come. And then, once you get allocation, you begin to do and undo. Considering all of these challenges, do you still think that sitting down, these same people, because it's the same people that are going to sit down, do you still think sitting down with these same people, you are going to achieve that constitution of your dream before you begin to talk about policy or the economy, rebuilding the economy?
You cannot rebuild any economy on nothing. You cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. It will collapse. It's a common cliche. If you look at the constitution, the present one, it is a unitary constitution. It's not by any standard or by any means federal. There are 67 items on the exclusive legislative list. including matters that the federal government should never engage itself in. What is the federal government's business that you have to have the Marriage Act? The exclusive legislative, which should actually be for local governments. Why has Nigeria refused to allow the local government system to work when it is actually a third-tier system of government started in 1976, and which you can find in Section 3, Subsection 6 of the Constitution, in Section 162, Subsection 3, which is on the exclusive legislative, which should actually be for local governments. Why agree that the Constitution is fundamentally flawed? Then the next question will now come. How do you get going? In 2014, a confab was set up by the government of Goodluck Jonathan. We were 492 members of that confab. For 6 months, we fought each other.
Couldn't agree.
We agreed to agree, and we disagreed to agree, and we agreed to disagree. Only few items came up that we had a consensus on. I was the chairman of the subcommittee on achieving a new constitution, and we made recommendations, over 600 recommendations, but no government has had the audacity or the willpower to effectuate those recommendations. So we have proposed that you can subject the 2014 National Conference recommendations and the 1963 constitutional provisions, which actually operated a system of a federal system, unlike the unitary system that we are operating, subject the provisions to a referendum of the people.
Let me tell you,
and with that, you can have a brand new constitution that is so touchstone, homegrown, legitimate, believed by the people. If the people do not believe in how they are governed, are we not entitled to discuss amongst ourselves? Do you have a marriage that is forced? There are state captors who will never allow the system to work. But we have to deal with these state captors because they are a minute, less than 1% of the population. And if we don't take on them headlong, we will never move anywhere.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much. Like I said, this is a discussion that would continue outside of this place. Fortunately, Prof and I engages on this once in a while. Sir, Chief, I know you don't, just like Mr. Ayolaja those days, he will tell you, I'm not a chief. Address me as Mr. Mr. Femi Falana, sir. You are one person that a lot of Nigerians follow. And you shoot straight. According to the keynote speaker, His Grace Bishop Kuka, and you also believe that Nigeria Nigeria has defaulted in the constitutional promissory note to its citizens. You agree? That has been your message. So, what system of government can help this country out of the doldrum? Should we go back, look for a benevolent dictator, or because some politicians have muted that, just like Lee Kuan Yew and co. Do we need a benevolent dictator, considering the fact, sir, that when you talk about nationhood, citizenship, states, like Reverend Father talked about, really we don't know where we stand in all of this. So what system can help the Nigerian state achieve that promissory note to its citizens? And then we'll start from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First of all, the Reverend Father on the panel gave the impression that Nigerians do not believe in accountability. Please, Father, it is not true. Like Karl Marx said, the ideas of the ruling class are the prevailing ideas in any historical epoch, it is because members of the ruling class, those who are in charge of our country, do not believe in accountability. But that does not mean Nigerians are opposed to accountability. In the traditional society, in this part of the world, if a king who was next to God committed an abomination, they will be forced to open a calabash. And that means you either commit suicide or you are gone. Now, when we were in the primary school, in those days, Mike, if you brought a pencil home, your mother would be the one that would take you to school with the pencil to report you to the teacher. In those days, if you were reported to your priest, you would be afraid. Today, because there are no examples on the part of the political leadership of our country. Now, second one, when I attend programs like this, I believe we talk too much as Nigerians and less action. The Catholic Church is so powerful in the country and in the world, and you can change the world. I'm going to task you, Your Grace, all the politicians who claim to be Catholics. Let us start with Lagos. All the political leaders who claim to be Catholics, you must have a regular forum to meet with them and ask questions. Those who are in Abuja, those who are in Alausa, you are collecting a car of 160 million naira in a country where people are poor. What is the justification? You have constituency projects of 500 million per annum. Where are those projects? We can't just sit down here and be blaming government. Are we taking up our own assignment? Your questions are, yes, Bishop Kuka has rightly identified the compulsory implementation of the provisions of chapter 2. And this is where I'm again going to give a task to the church. Unfortunate, the Secretary of Government has left. Abimbola Udeyin. The minister is here. My sister is here. The special advisor on monitoring the ministers. Now, every child in Nigeria shall attend school free of charge from primary to junior secondary school. Every state in Nigeria has adopted and enacted the Child's Right Law. Section 15 of that law so provides. Lagos State, and we are going to court, the Lagos State government has just increased school fees from 30,000 naira to 100,000 naira per term. If you have 4 children, that will be 1.2 million a year. I'm not talking of your clothing, whatever. The system, no. Minimum Wage Act must work. There is a law, Health Act of 2014, Pension Reforms Act. People's Bank must be brought back, where the poor can access loan without collateral. That is the law. Now, all these laws can only work under a socialist government. We need to have a socialist transformation of our country. Final one. Even if we don't want a socialist society, there are capitalist countries now in the Scandinavian countries. You can Google there. Holland, you can Google here. Netherlands has closed down about 19 prisons in the last 2 years because there are no people to go there. A member of my family has just had a baby in the UK, and I asked her, congratulations, can we know what you paid in the hospital? Can we help? He said, no. You should know that We have the NHS here. It works. I didn't pay a dime. And Britain is a capitalist country. That is why the children of the rich are going to Europe and America to have children, because the future of the child is guaranteed. The future of every child is guaranteed. We must do that here by insisting nobody should go out for medical treatment. They will fix our hospitals. No government official should go out to send the children abroad. They will fix all our schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I know members of my panel, if I allow them, won't live here. So whoever put this panel together deserve a Guinness Book of Record award. Lady Netta, you deserve an award. Now, sir, you talked about farming, going back to farming. I am very particular about that, because that's where our governors deceive us. My outgoing governor came during campaign. 2,000 youths will be engaged in farming. And like I said, farming without processing is poverty. Obasanjo said we should plant cassava, but there were no off-takers. There were no off-takers, so people planted cassava, and there was so much cassava. Some took loans, and you had cassavas, there were no off-takers. So, and then, today, as we speak now, Mr. Femfalana was just showing me the police in Rivers decided to stay away from the election. Yes, we're going. So, quickly, briefly, this process, considering the fact that the local governments are not viable, how do we ensure that these your suggestions of going back to the farm truly, vis-a-vis the processes of the farming crops, and then the off-takers, how do we achieve that so quickly? We're rounding up. Just 1 minute and then 1 minute, because I have a message from...
Thank you very much. You agree with me that Nigerians are poor, they are hungry, and they are angry. When you have these three factors, you are just recipe for chaos. Any country that cannot feed itself cannot make economic progress. India is the most populous country in the world. India can produce enough food to feed the population and at the same time export. We have been blessed in this country with arable land. The problem is that we have government policies that are never implemented. So when I tell the young ones going back to agriculture, agriculture has a long, wide value chain. There are so many aspects of it. You don't have to be a farmer to be in agriculture, but you can actually work with farmers. You can help them to be more productive. Nigeria has the lowest yield per hectare for almost all the various products or crops in the whole of Africa. Why? Even Egypt has better yield per hectare in rice than Nigeria, and Egypt is in deserts. So what we need is, how can we get the young ones more involved in agriculture, small scale, large scale, and to make that possible. One is to educate them on it. Second is to provide the financial resources required to make it happen. It has to be private sector led, not necessarily government led.
For equality's sake, 1 minute further. You talk about the fact that Nigerians are not accountable. The church also, I want to say quickly, is also not insulated from this accountability, considering the fact that now our family values, talk about family values, where the Catholic Church, for example, if the Catholic Church decide on a Monday that today we're going to call out all our members, nobody should go to work, we'll just sit down on the road and hold government accountable, government will shiver. But the church is not doing that. Rather, you're traveling from Benin to Lagos, you need the blood of Jesus instead of holding government accountable to build those roads. How can the church help to reorientate the mind to achieving these active citizens that should hold government accountable? 1 minute, quick.
Thank you very much. I'm sure that is why we are also here today, as part of what the church is doing to get the country working. Let me just quickly correct the impression from Mr. Falana. When we speak that Nigerians don't like accountability, we are not talking about 210 million Nigerians. But we know that those days, like you pointed out, if a child is doing something wrong, the person gets corrected. But today, we see that even the child that is into crime, the family covers for the child. It's probably not the responsibility, again, of the top. But of course, we know full well that the leadership will set the pace for it. And that's why I'm saying we are all involved. The church is inclusive in this. Will there be such a time where the church will say, everybody come and sit along on the road? I know that's just for an example. But the truth is that the church is doing so many things in different ways, at least in the Catholic Church that we belong to. That's why we have election observation. That's why we have these types of gathering. And that's why, if you remember, a few years down the line, we had a very serious procession to decry the crisis and the killings in the country. What we are simply asking is for some level of accountability, because we have a lot of impunity in the system. Thank you.
Thank you. And on that note, yes, I would have, for time's sake, if you had questions, I don't think we'll be able to take your questions. So on that note, we'll briefly round up this session. Thank you, Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, Professor Mike Ozekome, SAN, Adiza Bala Usman, the special advisor to the president on the coordinating ministers, and then Sir Chris Ogbeche and Reverend Father Raymond Anolifo. Thank you very much. It was, you will agree that it was quite intellectually stimulating. Thank you. And I thank myself for being able to thank you.
All right. Thank you. Panelists, please, before you return to your seats, time will not permit that we ask one of us to thank them on our behalf, but can we all, with a resounding applause, say thank you to them, please? And so, still on the note of appreciation, would like to invite His Grace Archbishop Abegunrin to please do us the honor of presenting, please don't go, of presenting the appreciation plaque to our panelists. The event is now on auto drive. We will have to expedite the rest of the lineup activities. So the first to receive the award of appreciation is Mr. Femi Falana. And after him is Professor Mike Ozekome. And next is Adiza Bala Usman. Please put your hands together. To receive next, Professor Sir Chris Ogbeche. And the next is the only Reverend Father amongst them, Very Reverend Father Raymond Anolifo. And lastly on the list, the moderator, Mr. Liberus Oshoma. We invite our Chief Shepherd, Your Grace, to please take photograph with the discussants. We'd like to welcome, as the photograph is on, we'd like to welcome the representatives of the Chief of Defense Staff, Intelligence, Major General EAP Undiande, Colonel A.A. Lawal. Please put your hands together for them. We welcome you. And so they will be taking a very quick goodwill message. But before that, we'd also like to welcome the representative of the Inspector General of Police and Assistant Inspector General of Nigerian Police in charge of Zone 2 Command. Please join me to welcome Mr. Fayoade Adegoke. You're highly welcome. All right, so we invite the representative of the IG to please step forward to the podium and give the goodwill message.
The representative of the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ably represented by Dr. Jamil Abiu Ibrahim, Honorable Minister of Youth. His Grace, Most Reverend Alfred Adewale Martins, congratulations, sir, for this great occasion. I also want to appreciate the panelists for the great work they have done. The Catholic Herald Centenary Award Lecture ceremony is the first newspaper in Nigeria, is a very great occasion. The theme of this lecture, the Nigerian states, transcending challenges and attaining nationhood, is apt and very relevant. The country, Nigeria, to attain greatness and economic and political greatness require a very safe and secure country, where a citizen can thrive and live in harmony. The Nigerian police, led by the Inspector General of Police, Federal Republic of Nigeria, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, PhD MPM, has recorded remarkable feats and progress in the fight against banditry, against kidnapping, armed robbery, cybercrime, and other vices in the country. The IGP has asked me to assure you, distinguished Nigerians here, that the Nigerian police remain unwavering and committed to safety and security of this country. The economy, Nigerian police remain unwavering in this fight against crime and banditry, and that there is need for the members of the public, there's need for national cohesion, there's need for unity, there's need to strengthen good neighborliness, there's need to strengthen community engagement and participation in the fight against crime. From street to street, from community to community, from neighborhood to neighborhood, from neighborhood to the larger area. Because except there is this unity of purpose, except there is this cohesion, there is community engagement, fighting crime may be a little bit difficult. That is to say that all Nigerians must come together, work with the Nigerian police to fight crime and criminalities in the area. The members of the public must not stay aloof and allow things to happen in their area without letting the police know. They must come out, they must work together with the people in the neighborhood, they must work together with the police and other security agencies to bring crime to the barest minimum. It's only that unity of purpose, cohesiveness, togetherness that we can get rid of all the vices, all the criminal activities thriving in our area. So we appeal to all Nigerians to come out and assist or support the Nigerian police and other security agencies in bringing crime to the barest minimum. The Lagos is an example of the Nigerian state where the community and the people work together to bring crime to the barest minimum. Most of the achievements being, most of the achievement recorded as far as police is concerned in Lagos and other parts of the country is based on information dissemination. Information matters a lot. It makes the work very easy. We should not stay aloof and allow things to happen in our area and look away. If it's not happening to us, it may happen to us the next month. So we need the support of generality of the members of the public to really fight crime and bring it to the barest minimum. I want to appreciate and thank His Grace for this centenary celebration, and I wish His Grace and other organizers of this event many more years of celebration. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. We just would like to very quickly appeal to those of us taking photographs already within the hall. Please, we have the red carpet space outside the hall. If we must take that photograph, we beg you, so as to avoid some rowdiness. Please cooperate with us. We are taking the next goodwill message coming from the president of the CBCN, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria. His Grace Most Reverend Dr. Lucius Ugoji. Representing him to deliver this goodwill message is His Grace Most Reverend Dr. Gabriel Leke Abegunrin, the Archbishop of Ibadan Archdiocese. Please put your hands together as we welcome His Grace.
You heard it. I'm the one speaking, but on behalf of our President, Archbishop Ugoji. But the mistakes are mine. Anything good is his own. Thank you very much. I stand on the existing protocol, please. Well, what we have today is a testimony of what the Catholic Church is all about. It's a testimony to history. Catholic Church is a church of history, a church of confidence, a church of love, a church of freedom, a church of seriousness, a church of faithfulness, and a church of business that we are very busy what we are doing, but with all honesty. Some years back, things like this were not happening. But today, it's also a sign that the church is seriously.
May we please be attentive. His Grace is addressing us. Please, we beg you. Please be seated. Be seated. Thank you as you comply.
I have to congratulate the this newspaper for what we are doing today, because I'm a beneficiary of it every week through the good editor there, the Neta. She sends me a copy every week. So I'm very much familiar with the newspaper. And I'm glad to say that. Well, 100 years is not a small time. It has made history, and it's still existing. Many good things in the public, they have extinguished. No more. And for me to see a copy with every week, I don't monopolize it or sit upon it. I share it with, as far as South Africa, and among my priests, I share the copy that I get. I encourage that those in charge of the Catholic Herald, Lady Neta and her team, to keep up the good works, telling the truth to the church, to Nigeria, and to the world. And I want to say this in support of what just went on. Panelists came, Bishop Kuka spoke his mind, and it was used among the panelists to give us more enlightenment on what he said. And I want to say this, that's one thing that they didn't mention, the panelists, of what is wrong with Nigeria. And that is, indiscipline is our problem. Discipline. Everywhere there's indiscipline. Even sometimes it keeps into the church. Indiscipline. People do what they like. And, well, they talk about our law. Maybe we need a new law or the old law. But the fact is that even the laws we have now, the laws are not working. Because many people offend and they go free of charge. Or they go away smiling. Example, when the people steal so much money, like 30 billion, they find them with 500 million and they go away scot-free with the rest. So injustice is still there, no seriousness. I think the problem is each of us are not ready to play our part. If each of us is playing his or her part, Nigeria will be better today. Let's play our part as fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, bishops, priests, and reverend sisters. Let us play our part. When we do our part, I'm sure Nigeria will move forward. And so once again, I congratulate Archbishop Martins and the team with Lady Neta for the great work they are doing with this magazine, the Catholic Herald. It's important for us to know that the Catholic Church plays a great part in making the truth known through such means or medium. Let us pray that what we hear and we see that is good, we must make them exist and get prolonged so that Nigeria will become a better place. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Your Grace. We have to now go to the crescendo of why we're here, and that is to unveil the project. The project, it is time for it to be unveiled. And so we have a less than 1 minute video to take us through the introductory part of the unveiling. And after this video, we shall have the Director of Social Communications, Very Reverend Father Anthony Godonu. If you cannot pronounce the name Godonu, you can pronounce God on you. Multimedia, let's have the video, please.
Your Graces, the Minister, the representative of the President, the representative of the Chairman of the occasion, Monsignor Fathers, brothers and sisters, what you are looking at is a 3-day expression of what we are trying to put up together for the Archdiocese of Lagos. It's a modern audio-visual studio that will give us a leverage to further spread the gospel of Christ. It is a project that is determined to build up a modern audio-visual studio for the Archdiocese, a professional high-tech studio that will have sound recording, video production, and post-production editing to cater for the needs of various users, including filmmakers, musicians, content creators, event organizers seeking a world-class production experience. A whole lot of things have to go into this studio in order to make it what you are seeing now. This is just 3 days. So we have a number of things that we need to get: professional audio equipment. We have a high-end camera technology that we need to gather. We want to create a hub for creativity. And so we need studio lighting for illuminating that environment. And of course, for us to be able to come out and cook a very good product, we need a post-production suite. Mastering your vision. We need acoustic treatments. All these, they are within the pages of page 32 to page 35, 35 or 36 or thereabout, where you also have the breakdown of what we are looking at. We are looking at about 184 million naira. But we have been very moderate enough and very, we want to be moderate because of the economy, and we are asking for just 150 million naira. And I'm sure that all those we have gathered today, we are more than capable to be able to raise this fund for the cause of evangelization and for the good of our society. In this studio, we also hope to train the youths and to empower them so that they too will become useful to the nation. So that is what we have at the moment, and I really call on all of us to support this project. Thank you very much. God bless you.
So we have heard it. Now is the time. Before the unveiling proper, it is time to listen attentively to the remarks by the special guest of honor, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And this remark will be delivered on his behalf by none other than the Honorable Minister Youth Development, Dr. Jamila Ibrahim Bio. Shall we please give a standing ovation to the President. Please be seated.
Good afternoon. Do I proceed on already existing protocols? Please permit me to proceed on already existing protocols, while also recognizing the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, represented by Honorable Christopher Tarka, and Your Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Alfred Adewale Martins, Archbishop of the Metropolitan See of Lagos, and publisher of the Catholic Herald newspaper. I'm deeply honored to stand before you today, representing His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, as we gather to mark this truly momentous occasion, celebrating the centenary of the Catholic Herald. 100 years of unwavering service, dedication, and commitment to the principles of truth, peace, and justice. This milestone is not only a significant achievement for the Catholic Church, but also one for Nigeria as a nation. The Catholic Church has been a cornerstone in our national journey, and like we have heard previous speakers say, that the journey of a nation is a marathon. And I want to assure you that this administration has the right runners for this marathon race. And of course, working with the people, we will run this race together. And the church has been a pillar that has supported and uplifted generations of Nigerians. Through the Catholic Herald, the church has consistently championed the values of human dignity, justice, and unity, providing a voice for the voiceless and offering moral guidance in times of uncertainty. And it is no wonder we have had a discourse here with government representation and activists, and of course the religious, the spiritual institutions. It just shows the role that the church plays in nation building. As a government, we recognize the importance of the work the church has done and continues to do in shaping the moral compass of our nation. We're living in times when our diversity as a nation must be our strength. And it is institutions like the church that remind us of the power of unity, the need for tolerance, and the essential role of dialogue in maintaining harmony across our communities. While I would like to proceed to speak on behalf of the President, permit me to also put on my second cap as a representative of young people on the Federal Executive Council, because a lot of issues have been raised and are really, they greatly impact young people. And because we are 70% of Nigeria's population, it is important that we tell you what we're doing to address youth restiveness and to, of course, engage young people to make them active contributors to Nigeria's economic, social, and political development. So, the centenary we're celebrating today is a testament to the enduring influence of the church in shaping not only religious lives, but also social, economic, and political dimensions of our society. This celebration is a recognition of the critical role of the church in building the moral foundation of Nigeria, one that fosters respect, peace, and national cohesion. Today's event also reminds us of the importance of communication, particularly in this digital age. The unveiling of the integrated audiovisual studio, Centenary Legacy project, signifies the church's commitment to evolving and reaching more people with Nigerians. You have educated generations, you have healed the sick, and you have provided hope to those in need. These are the values that bind us together as a nation and make us And our faith sect we belong to regardless of what have more values regardless of what sect we belong to, have more values in common that unite us than we know. And I would like to take us down where, I mean, this is a testament of that unity and, of course, the openness of the Catholic Church to other sects. And we remember Alhaji Jibril Martins, who was a secretary to a bishop, and he played a very critical role. Being a Muslim, played a critical role in the Catholic Herald. So the Catholic Church, regardless of his faith, opened their doors for him to serve. And after him, there was also another notable Muslim Nigerian who also played a role in this church, in the Catholic Church, Imam Augusto, who we are all very familiar with. So these are examples that we all need to remind ourselves that there isn't much that divides us in our faiths. Our youth, now speaking to my role as Minister of Youth. So our youth in particular stand to benefit from the church's efforts, and they are the future of must equip them makers of tomorrow. And that is why I have approved the convening of a national youth conference as an avenue to foster young people in order to engage them and deliberate on the Nigeria they need to see as we continue to evolve as a strong nation. The framework and the timeline of this conference will be communicated soon, and I therefore urge every youth stakeholder across the country to join and participate in this great conference as a peaceful means of voicing opinions amongst their peers and with government representatives. This is in addition to the creation of the Federal Ministry of Youth Development, dedicated to overseeing youth development policies and implementing our various policies, programs, and initiatives of the sector. Access to finance and the need for enterprise development and promotion for young people, and also the need for quality education. So we have actually identified these problem areas as our challenges that hinder young people from being meaningfully or gainfully employed on jobs or creators of jobs. So the Youth Investment Fund, yes, we've had previous panelists speak to our core culture of accountability. And also, panelists have also spoken to the fact that it is a two-way thing. There is the leadership challenge, and there's also the citizenship challenge as well that our country is faced with. So I was talking to someone earlier when the panelists were speaking about why sometimes government initiatives, when it comes to giving out funds or loans to people, fails. Because citizens do not feel the need or the obligations to pay back. The Youth Investment Fund, before we restructured it, was structured in the way that recovery of the loans were going to be difficult. There were disbursements of about 12 billion naira in the past, and we only recovered 110 million naira. Is it government that is the only problem? So I'm just giving us a little idea, but then we came on board, decided there was a need to do things differently. So we revitalized the Youth Investment Fund, and we are injecting 110 billion naira to that fund. In addition to the Youth Development Bank, because we know that various businesses run by young people require various levels of funding, so different solutions. So the Youth Investment Fund, we also realized that it would be too risky, if we have to be accountable to the Nigerian people, it would be too risky to give loans to solely commit the fund to giving out loans to individual businesses run by young people. So we decided we were going to give only 30% of the approved 110 billion for individual businesses to address the shocks of the impact, to help them to cushion the shocks of the impact of the economic reforms that the administration is embarking on. So for businesses that are struggling, we are reaching out to see how we can support them, that are run by young people. And the second implementation approach in the restructured Youth Investment Fund is we introduced the cluster model, because we know that we have thousands, millions of young people we must engage. So we are also talking to the subnationals. We want to do things differently. We want to see impact, as opposed to the usual government gives out money, we do not get it. We don't see the impact. We neither see the impact to the economy, the blue economy space in the coastline states, and the agrarian belts of the country. We're working in the agri sector as well. And the creative sector, we are building up our clusters in the creative sector. We're building our clusters in the digital economy space, where we give young people the infrastructure, they provide the necessary infrastructure, they share it, leverage on economies of scale, and we provide also mentorship, end-to-end hand-holding from the process of the idea of that business to the point of return on investment and access to market as well, because it's a different thing giving people money, but are they, like, have you taught them processes and phases that these businesses are real and they have been impacted? And this is accountability on our part. I wouldn't want to bore us too much, but I thought I should let us know that government is also thinking in the direction that well-meaning Nigerians are also yearning and thinking. So, as your president, I'm committed to ensuring that the federal government remains a strong partner with the faith-based organizations like the Catholic Church, and together, well, I would like to make a commitment as the Minister of Youth Development. We're working on creative clusters, and Lagos State is one of the states that have been recognized to have a lot of creative young people. So with the digital, the audio-visual, pardon me, the integrated audio-visual studio which is part of the Centenary Legacy Project Legacy Initiative. We want to collaborate with the church. So we want to see how the church, this project can be one of the enterprise clusters in the creative sector under the Youth Investment Fund, funded through the Presidential Initiative on Youth Enterprise Clusters. We all complain about some, we're talking about value reorientation, how the family that is the fundamental building block of society are breaking down. And we have not created alternatives for young people to be engaged. So this is a laudable initiative, and we will invest. Together, we will continue to uphold the values of peace, social justice, and economic opportunities for all Nigerians. The government will continue to create opportunities that empower our youth, foster unity, and build a more prosperous nation. We must all recognize that the work is far from done. As we celebrate today, let it also serve as a call to action for every single Nigerian. The journey to build a better, more united, and more prosperous Nigeria requires the contributions of every citizen. We must all play our part in strengthening our nation. On behalf of the government and the good people of Nigeria, I congratulate the Catholic Herald on this momentous occasion. I thank you all who have been part of this remarkable journey over the past 100 years for sustaining this century-old legacy. Together, we will continue to build the Nigeria of our dreams, a Nigerian state that transcends challenges and attains true nationhood. A nation united in purpose, strengthened by our diversity, and guided by the values that define our collective character. God bless the Catholic Herald, God bless the Catholic Church, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
A standing ovation, please, to appreciate our dear President through the Honorable Minister for Youth Development. Thank you very much. And we request our Chief Shepherd to please take a photograph with the Honorable Minister. Please, we invite our Chief Shepherd to present the appreciation plaque, after which a photograph will be taken. Now that we have heard it from the presidency, through the minister, the Honorable Minister, the fundraising exercise is automatically activated. So after the photograph, we shall hand the microphone to the chairman, and then we continue from there. And just very quickly, we shall also do the presentation of awards to its recipient. Before we go into that, permit me to very quickly, I'd like to announce someone with the registration number of this vehicle, black Honda car, LSR 650GS. You are blocking the Reverend Fathers who came to represent the Bishop of Oshogbo Diocese. Please go and repark. We'd like to invite the representative of the chairman, Honorable Christopher, to please step forward for his own appreciation plaque. Please, one more time, if you are the owner of that car blocking a Reverend Father, I would rather you block me than a Reverend Father. Please go and repark. Black Honda car, LSR 650GS. And so before the chairman returns to his seat, the chairman will add his voice to the project.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on existing protocol. First, to the person that said I should do penance, I went back and His grace looked at me with the eyes of mercy, because we serve a God of mercy. So penance has been overtaken by mercy. As the SGF said in his speech, and encourage all of us that as we go into the second phase, as chairman, all of us should give generously. I was at a function when somebody told a joke about a stingy rich man who didn't want to give money. One day, as he was standing by the roadside, 50 naira fell on the ground, and a crippled man quickly grabbed the 50 naira and left. The man started crossing, the rich man wanted to cross the road. A car hit him, and he ended up at the gates of heaven. St. Peter met him there and said, looked at him, looked at the record book, and the currency to enter heaven is given. So he saw the man had given, but he saw 50 naira there, and he was really concerned about what to do. He went back into heaven to consult with St. Paul. And St. Paul asked him, what's the problem? He said, this man here that doesn't give. He gave 50 naira, and he has ended up at heaven gate. What do we do with him? Where do we place him? St. Paul said, go and give him back his 50 naira and let him go to hell. So let us give generously, please. This is a noble cause. This is a cause, as we have heard, has been impacting our nation and people over 100 years. I listened to the Honorable Minister's speech on behalf of the President and what they're trying to do. And I think one of the ways we may enhance the creativity of our young people is to give to this cause. I don't know whether there's a chief launcher, because I looked on the program and I didn't see anything like a chief launcher. Okay, MC says we're all chief launchers. Now, when I go to occasions or I represent my principal at occasions, everybody watches what is the principal going to give. And when the principal gives, everybody gives below the principal. So today, since you're all co-launchers, we are going to decree and declare that this event of the formal launching is now open, and we'll throw it to the chief launchers first. The chairman will sit down quietly and watch and whisper very quietly to His grace what has been given. After all, the Bible says, do not let your right hand know what the left hand is doing. So it is going to be the left hand talking to His Lord, His grace, and the right hand talking to Him. So please, I encourage you, give. But I assure you, remembering that we are government officials, we are not looking for the previous so we will whisper to you to decide for now. But what we are going to do, we will do so that we have a place. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. On that note, we call for the award, the
positive force, a catalyst for capital market growth, and one of the major stabilizing agents of our economy. He has been an influential entrepreneur from his initial formal entry into the oil and gas sector with Zambia to his acquisition of African Petroleum (AP), which transformed into 40 Oil, and to his later investments in the power sector through Girigu Power Generation Company. Aside from these business ventures, his ownership of Center Force Limited, an investment company, Swift Insurance, and Seaforth Shipping Company Limited, among others, makes him one of the country's foremost business moguls and top employer of labor in Nigeria. Femi Otedola is renowned for his humanitarian passion. He gives silently, generously, and consistently to uplift society's most vulnerable. He is especially committed to the development of education in Nigeria. The most notable example is his financial support towards the establishment and development of Augustine University, Ilara Ekpe. In 2019, he donated the engineering faculty complex to the university, an edifice comprising 4 blocks, constructed at an estimated cost of 2 billion naira. On October 26, 2023, upon his inauguration as the Chancellor of the Institute at its 5th convocation ceremony, he donated 1 million naira to each of the 750 returning and fresh graduates to alleviate the plight of the students and their parents under the harsh economic situation of the country. On the same day, he also donated 140 million naira for the furnishing of the university's engineering faculty building and 110 million naira for the installation of street lights on the campus and the purchase of a new standby generator. Instructively, the altruism of Otedola, son of former Lagos State Governor Sir Michael Otedola, is not limited to the Catholic Church. His acts of charity are endless. Notable examples include his 200 million naira donation to the Michael Otedola University Scholarship Scheme to give underprivileged students in Lagos State access to higher education. Donation of 300 million naira towards the completion of the National Ecumenical Center in Abuja in 2005. Contribution to the 200 million naira donation to the Lagos State Security Trust Fund to tackle crime in Lagos State. 100 million naira donation to the Michael Otedola College of Primary Education in Ekpe in 2007. Donation of 80 million naira to the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Port Harcourt in 2018. $25,000 largesse to the Super Eagles for their exploits in the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations in Algeria. Contribution of 1 billion naira fund for scholarships for indigent students in Lagos State. Donation of $14 million to Save the Children organization, and payment of the medical bills of notable icons in sports and arts, just to mention but a few. His silent philanthropy echoes loudly across many corridors in Nigeria. Femi Otedola, CON, is the pride of the Catholic Church. In many ways, he exemplifies the Catholic value of contribution to community, church, and country. He is a recipient of the national honor of the Commander of the Niger, CON. Today, he receives the Catholic Herald Centenary Man Award. We are proud of you, sir.
Receiving this award on behalf of Mr. Femi Otedola, here is Mr. Philip Akinola. And we implore His Grace to please do us the honor of presenting this award.
So much. I stand on all existing protocol. It's with joy that I'm here on behalf of Mr. Femi Otedola, who is supposed to be here personally to pick this award, but due to some business pressure, he could not make it to be here. We all know that he's part of us, and he cherished this wonderful award in recognition of all his contributions to the Catholic mission works in Nigeria. What we are doing today is actually something that touches us so much, especially talking about Nigeria. And for me, standing on his behalf, what we are doing has a special place in my heart. There was a man called Edmund Burke that says one time that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to sit down doing nothing. It's a joy to see that Catholic mission has been a very loud voice in this country. And I want to encourage us to keep doing that, because that's the only thing that can save this nation. Many of us decide to stay here, and we have been on the street regarding this nation, and thank God we have government officials who are here. I just want to say, lastly, that there is hope for Nigeria, and I want to encourage Catholic mission to continue in this way, because definitely we will see the glory of this land. There are prophecies that have been spoken regarding it that will surely speak. So please, let's be encouraged. Let's keep on doing the work, and surely Nigeria will become a nation that we admire very soon. Thank you for this honor that you have done to my boss. And regarding what we are doing, I will take the message home. We know him, that he doesn't relate.
Thank you very much, sir. Next recipient, Very Reverend Father Julius Olaiton.
Very Reverend Father Julius Olaiton is the Episcopal Vicar, Lagos Region, Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos, and Parish Priest, Regina Mundi Catholic Church, Motion, Lagos. He is the voice behind Daily Reflections, a popular broadcast on social media. His homily, which begins with the familiar line, "Dear friends in Christ, welcome to our daily reflection," is widely shared on WhatsApp and other social media platforms. Remarkably, since the maiden edition of Daily Reflections on December 8, 2015, he has not missed a day's broadcast. As the director of the Lagos Resource Center during the COVID-19 pandemic, Father Julius started his daily broadcast, which he recorded and sent out every morning via WhatsApp. He further helped to minimize the effect of the lockdown with his daily broadcast of the Holy Mass. He went further to maximize the diffusion power of social media by adding a YouTube channel to his broadcast. His efforts expanded the scope of evangelism to the Catholic faithful, not only in Nigeria but around the world. Daily Reflection reverberates far and wide with dedicated audience in Australia, Liberia, and Germany, among other places. Born on April 11, 1971 at Odoayo Modoja, a local government area of Lagos State, his education started at the Roman Catholic Mission Primary School and Okimagba High School, both in Modoja, Odoayo. The call to the priesthood began with a journey into a spiritual year program at SS Peter and Paul Ekboma, and followed with formation at SS Peter and Paul Major Seminary, Ibadan from 1990 to 1998. While in SS Peter and Paul Bodija, Ibadan, Father Olaiton bagged his bachelor degrees in philosophy and theology, respectively, from the University of Ibadan and Pontifical Urbana University, Rome. He has master's degree in religion and culture, theology and philosophy in dialogue from Mater Dei Institute, Dublin City University, Ireland. Father Olaiton received his diaconate ordination on December 27, 1997, Ayinde Fashina, Bishop of Ijebu Diocese. The following year, on August 8, 1998, he was ordained a Catholic priest by Anthony Cardinal Okogie, then Archbishop of Lagos, at St. Dominic Catholic Church, Yaba. His priestly vocation started as associate priest at St. Michael's Catholic Church, Alakbere Ketu, where he later became the parish priest. He then became the administrator of Holy Cross Cathedral, Lagos, and chaplain at Church of Assumption, Booterstown, Dublin. Father Julius was also the project director of St. Albert the Great Major Seminary, Idowu Oforan, Ogun State. He returned to parish priest duty at Our Lady Mother of Perpetual Help Catholic Church, Ajah, while also serving as Dean of Lagos Island Deanery. Among other assignments, he has also been the chaplain and coordinator of small Christian communities, Archdiocese of Lagos, and director of vocations of the Archdiocese of Lagos. Very Reverend Father Julius Olaitan was appointed Episcopal Vicar, Lagos Region in 2023 on his 25th year as a priest. In that capacity, he oversees a region that comprises over 50 parishes, combined with his duty as parish priest of Regina Mundi Catholic Church, Mushin. He was at various times a member of the Priest Welfare Committee 2013, All-Purpose Committee of the Archdiocese of Lagos 2013 till date, and the Lagos State Pilgrims Welfare Board 2013 to 2015. Presently, he is chairman of the Mercy Committee of the Lagos Archdiocesan Jubilee. Without any doubt, Very Reverend Father Julius Olaitan stands out and is a recipient for the Catholic Herald Centenary Evangelism Award.
And to present the award, we call on Honorable Christopher Tucker to please do us the honor.
Dear fathers, dear sisters, my dear brothers and sisters, good evening to you all. Well, I just want to say a big thank you to Catholic Herald for this award. We didn't set out for the awards when we began the audio cast, but we give thanks to God that in one way or the other, it has been a help to some people on their journey of faith. Thank you very much for the recognition. God bless you.
Thank you. The next recipient, Sir Steve Mojafo, KCSSOON.
Sir Steve Bamidele Omojafo is a devout Catholic who was a mass servant and is now a papal knight. For over 4 decades, he has consistently remained an eminent figure in the workings of the Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos. Sir Omojafo had his education in Catholic institutions, St. Martin's Catholic Primary School, Holy Cross Catholic Primary School, and St. Gregory's College, Lagos, before going to Jose College, Warri, for his higher school certificate, HSC. He then attended the University of Lagos, where he studied and earned a bachelor's degree in mass communication in 1972. He worked briefly in the newspaper at Daily Times of Nigeria as a senior reporter and sub-editor from 1972 to 1974 before he switched to advertising by joining Linters Limited. He later co-founded Rosabel Advertising Limited, where he was client service director till 1990. He then moved on to set up STB Macan Lagos. He opened offices in Ghana and Sierra Leone and was the agency's longest serving managing director and CEO till his retirement in 2006. Sir Omojafo is a major force to be reckoned with in Nigeria's marketing communications industry, serving at various times as president of the Association of Advertising Agencies of Nigeria and vice president of the Nigerian chapter of the International Advertising Association. service to the church, an officer of the Order of the Niger, OON, a Nigerian national honor conferred on him in 2014 for his numerous contributions to the growth of the country. Given his quintessential qualities, Sir Omojafor is an apt candidate for the Catholic Herald Centenary Lifetime Achievement Award, which is designed to honor Nigerian Catholics who have made landmark contributions to the church and society at large.
And to present the award, once again, the chairman of the occasion.
Who are still here, it is a great pleasure that I come here the young lady worried me so much about sending one photograph or the other about me. I'm not I'm just going to present myself here today. But talking seriously, working in the church and working in the Lost Vineyard is something that comes natural to some of us. So when our works like this come, for me sometimes it's a distraction. But all the same, I'm going to say thank you so much to the producers of the Herald. I have just the Herald maybe the better part of 30 years ago because I worked under a lot of the editors and those who were producing the newspaper. And I still know there's still a lot of work to do. So this is one more opportunity to call on all our friends, all parishioners of the Archdiocese of Lagos. Like they always say, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. I'm going to ask for many more laborers to come onto the field so that we can do bountiful harvest in the years to come. Once again, I say thank you very much to His Grace, who has at least been in a position to approve this honor, and at the same time, the management of the Herald. May you continue to grow strong. May all your work continue to yield fruit for the Archdiocese of Lagos and for the country at large. Thank you very much.
Just for the records, the fundraising exercise is still on. Please. The details, we have it on the screen. Next awardee, the Catholic Herald Centenary Public Service Award. Let's please welcome Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired. Ably represented
Brigadier
by the
General Mohammed Marwa, retired. CON of OFR is the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA. Marwa, a former military administrator of Lagos State and military governor of Old Borno State, has consistently distinguished himself as a top public servant with uncommon character, passion for excellence, and commitment to service. At various organizations where he served Nigeria, his stewardship brought maximum benefits to the country. As a military administrator, he was unarguably the best of the pack, a recognition that was sealed with the award of Nigeria's Man of the Year 1997 by Newswatch magazine. Marwa's visionary leadership and achievements in just 3 years at NDLEA stands him head and shoulders above his peers in public administration. Born on September 9, 1953, he is a product of the prestigious Nigerian Defense Academy. He has a Master of Public and International Affairs from the University of Pittsburgh and Master of Public Administration from Harvard University, both in the United States of America. Marwa's intellectual prowess also extends to the writing of books. He is the published author of 3 books, namely Nigerian Army Dictionary, Appreciation, and Grand Tactics. He also co-authored Nigeria in Peacekeeping Operations. In his post-military service, he was chairman of the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria, DECON, and High Commissioner to the Republic of South Africa with concurrent accreditation to the kingdoms of Swaziland and Lesotho from 2008 to 2010. He also served as the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Elimination of Drug Abuse, PASEDA. In 2021, he was appointed the chairman and CEO of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, which he galvanized into action after being dormant for 30 years, making it one of the best government agencies in the country within 3 years. From January 2021 to July 2023, NDLEA arrested 52,901 drug trafficking offenders, convicted 9,034 persons, and seized a record 7.6 million kilograms of illicit drugs in 3 years. The cash and drugs seized by the agency were estimated to have been worth 958 billion naira, while 948 houses, vehicles, and other assets were forfeited by drug traffickers. He also instituted the War Against Drug Abuse Water Advocacy Campaign used in spreading anti-drug awareness. Brigadier General Marwa is a recipient of national awards of the Commander of the Order of the Niger, CON, and Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, OFR. The military awarded him the Nigerian Armed Forces Honor of Distinguished Service Star, DSS. He is also a recipient of honorary doctorates from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, University of Nigeria in Soka, and Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State. The public's respect for him is reflected in the slew of leadership accolades he has received from respected media organizations, all for hard work, results, and achievements. We therefore reinforce our celebration of this Nigerian by nominating him for the Catholic Herald Centenary Public Service Award.
To receive the award on his behalf, we have here already the Director of the Media and Advocacy of the NDLEA, Mr. Femi Babafemi, together with the Lagos State Strategic Commander, Liman Wali Abubakar, and other senior officers of the agency. We crave the indulgence of the chairman. Oh, Your Grace, okay, the chairman, to please do us the honor of presenting it. Please, we have pledge forms already distributed. If you want us to announce your donation, please let us know. We only beg you to please respond to the call.
His Excellency Senator George Akume, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, ably represented by Honorable Chris Taka, His Grace, other distinguished guests, would like to, on behalf of the Chairman Chief Executive of the NDLA, appreciate the board and the leadership of the Catholic Herald for this great honor done unto General Marwa. Indeed, he had pre-scheduled assignments outside of the country when the notice of this event was brought to him, and that's why he had to ask me to come down. As we speak, he's still out of the country. And so that's why he has asked me and my colleagues to come to appreciate the leadership of this organization for the honor done him. And he says that he's just one out of the several personnel of the agency. In fact, he likes to dedicate this honor to the personnel, the officers, men and women of the agency, on whose shoulder he stands to be seen by the public, and which has brought him this great honor. He's also expressed his appreciation to the Catholic mission, and he is assuring that indeed this would continue to spur him and other members of the NDLA to do more, not only for the citizens, but for humanity. He's equally assuring of his partnership with the Catholic Herald going forward, especially in the area of advocacy, because this has to be, the fight against substance abuse and illicit drug trafficking in the country has to be a collective effort, and that's the whole essence of the WADA. Once again, we'd like to appreciate the board and the management of Catholic Herald for this great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next award, the Herald Catholic Centenary Humanitarian Award. And this goes to the Knights of St. Mulumba and the Ladies of St. Mulumba, KSM and LSM.
The Knights of St. Mulumba, KSM, and the Ladies of St. Mulumba, LSM, are two Catholic organizations well known for their charitable work in modern-day Nigeria and globally. The Lagos Metro Councils of these organizations are especially renowned for exceptional support for the church, as well as the less privileged and vulnerable members of society. At a time when the country is grappling with multidimensional poverty, the Lagos Metro Councils of KSM and LSM shifted gears to maximize the impact of their various humanitarian efforts. KSM Lagos Metropolitan Council, with 200 members in 32 sub-councils across the Lagos Archdiocese's domain of Lagos and Ogun states, is led by Metropolitan Grand Knight Sir Don Eze, elected in October 2021. Under his leadership, KSM Lagos Metro Council has redoubled its membership drive and channeled greater efforts to humanitarian works. The council supported the John Mary Vianney Home for Priests project at St. Agnes Catholic Church, Maryland, Lagos, with 20 million naira. It also provided financial support for the Passionate Sisters of St. Paul of the Cross, Festac Town, shoulders the sponsorship of the annual Archbishop's World Press Conference, and supports the fundraising activities of the Anthony Cardinal Okogie Foundation. The council also funds the training of priests of the Lagos Archdiocese annually. In the larger society, KSM Lagos Metro Council funds the education of brilliant but needy and less privileged young men and women who are in educational institutions across Nigeria. In the KSM year September 2022 to August 2023, the Lagos Metropolitan Council spent 451,600,000 naira on various charity activities. Under the leadership of Sir Don Eze, KSM Lagos Metropolitan Council has taken its charity to greater heights with two major projects. The first one is the Feed the Hungry charity exercise, launched on March 26, 2022. The second is medical outreach, which was held for the first time on May 1st, 2024 at the Catholic Church of Pentecost Parish Grounds, Jakande Estate, Lekki, Lagos. The council spent over 6 million naira on tests, treatment and drugs for over 8,000 people. The Lagos Metro Council of the Ladies of the Order of Knights of St. Malumba also complemented their spouses with humanitarian services within and outside the church. Under the strong leadership of its president, Lady Juliet Damien Oswigwe, a renowned giver, the council leverages its vast network across the sub-councils and over 1,000 zones in various communities of Lagos and Ogun states to continuously provide food, healthcare, education and clothing to the needy, while also supporting activities of parishes. In the year 2023, LSM Lagos Metro Council spent 143 million naira on charity. Overall, the Lagos Metro Councils of KSM and LSM are vital support systems for the church, the clergy, and their communities. We applaud the efforts of worthy MGK, Don Eze, and worthy MP, Juliet Damien Oswigwe, in recognition of the remarkable transformation they have brought to humanitarian services in Nigeria's southwest region, particularly across Lagos and Ogun states. KSM and LSM are joint winners of a Catholic Herald Centenary Humanitarian Award.
We humbly invite His Grace to please do us the honor of presenting the award. Out of imagination, I just feel for every KSM and LSM coming up stage now, if each of them were to bless this project with 5 million each, we would have gone far. Yes, that's KSM and LSM. For your information, they are the knights of the church. For those of us that are not one of them, we are the day of the church.
The Knights of St.
Thank you. We can use the red carpet space for the photograph. Let's have your response. Let's have your response, please. Your response, sir.
Stepped out. But we can stand it down. Anyway. And Your Grace is not here, but we'll continue. And I just want to say a very big thank you to Catholic Herald. And I congratulate them on this centenary. 100 years is not any mean feat. They have shown resilience through the years. They've shown zeal to continue to defend the church and to give voice to the church leadership, to the clergy, to the religious, and even us, the laity. Catholic Herald has always been there, and because it's a newspaper of record, 50 years today, you will still find the publications that are being made today. So we really thank them and congratulate them, the editorial board, on everything that they have done through the last 100 years and what they will do in the next 100 years. We know and we pray that the good Lord will continue to bless them and make them go as resilient as they are. For the project, the studio, isn't it? Yes, very innovative, and it will add so much value. The Knights of St. Mulumba would like to support that project with a sum of 5 million naira. Thank you.
Sir, man, don't go. He said the Knights of St. Mulumba. Can we hear from the ladies? Okay, knights and ladies. 2.5, 2.5. Thank you. That was just to put you on the spot. Thank you. Please put your hands together for them. Next recipient. Face of the Herald 100 Award. And this goes to Sir Chief Simeon Eyisi.
Chief Simeon Eyisi is the chairman and CEO of Sims Nigeria Limited, a business leader and industrialist who is famous for his altruism in church and society at large. Sims Nigeria Limited has been consistently supporting the Catholic Herald by placing advertisements on page 2 of the newspaper for more than 3 years now. Chief Eyisi, a native of ATTAINING in Anambra State, had a humble beginning as a salesman with Ibano Brothers and Company Limited, one of the biggest distributors of electronics in the Southeast in the 1970s and 80s. He rose through the ranks to become branch marketing officer, supervisor, and manager. In 1987, he established Sims Nigeria Limited as a one-shop company at number 2 Ogui Road in Enugu. In time, he built the small enterprise into a pagoda of business success. Sims grew from a mere sales outlet into a company that imported electronics brands and eventually became a manufacturing company following its expansion to Lagos. In 2003, Chief Eyisi signed a special agreement with Samsung to enable Sims assemble in Nigeria the products it has been importing for distribution in the country and the West African region. As at today, he has built Sims Nigeria Limited into a world-class brand that is the official regional representative of several global electronics makers, including such household names as Samsung and Panasonic, Royal, TCL, and Socam. Sims has been structured into a conglomerate, diversifying its operations to include manufacturing, distribution, service, retail, and property development, and has become the leading source of solutions to uninterrupted power supply. Chief Eyisi continuously creates job opportunities for young people and engenders economic growth for the country. Sir Eyisi steadfastly supports the church in a manner that reflects his standing as a 4th-degree Knight of the Order of St. Mulumba. He single-handedly built the parish house at St. Michael's Catholic Church, ATTAINING. He also contributed immensely to the training of Reverend Fathers in the various dioceses, parishes, and religious formations that he has been associated with, directly and even remotely. On the social front, Chief Eyisi has brought about notable development to his hometown through the construction of several roads and installation of streetlights. He supports the education and business apprenticeship of many youths with scholarship schemes and financial empowerment. One of his recent charities in this regard is the sponsorship of 64 students, consisting of 42 undergraduates and 20 postgraduates across top universities in Nigeria. In addition to these efforts, he also supports several schools with modern technological equipment like computers to enhance learning among both the pupils and their teachers. His humanitarian efforts resonate in the society and are well appreciated. A testament to such appreciation was his elevation to the membership of the Ozo Ezana Society, the highest traditional body in Neni, his hometown. Sir Chief Simeon Eyisi, a Knight of St. Mulumba and a Purple Knight of St. Sylvester, is an exemplary philanthropist who is worthy of the #1 position on our list of 100 charitable and distinguished Catholics. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate Chief Simeon Eyisi, face of the Herald, at 100.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. I'm very happy and delighted to be appreciated by the Herald. Herald have been doing a wonderful job. It's not easy to attain 100 years, and I would like to support them to achieve what they have in mind on the project, the studio. So I will support with the sum of 5 million naira.
Thank you very much. Please go to the middle for the picture. Thank you. For the records, Sir Chief Simeon Eyisi is a proud member of Eko Sub-Council Knights of St. Mulumba. The owner of it's a black car, the name is not written, Lagos State plate number JJJ418EF. JJJ418EF. It's a car, black color. Please go and repark. Thank you. Thank you. We can continue on the red carpet. Just in case some of the friends and well-wishers who are here may feel obliged to do something.
In support of Sims Eyisi, I want to donate a sum of 100,000 naira. I am Philip Ndubisi Ume, Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Philip Ndubisi Ume. God bless you for your generosity. All right. The next award is the Catholic Herald Centenary Most Supportive Catholic Woman. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mrs. Bernardine Ifoma Eloka, the wife of Scientific.
Mrs. Bernardine Ifoma Eloka is a prominent figure in the Catholic Women Organization CWO of the Lagos Archdiocese. She is the immediate past president of the Catholic Women Organization CWO of the Catholic Church of the Annunciation, Festac Town, and the President Deanery Coordinator, Catholic Women Organization Festac Deanery, Lagos Archdiocese, which consists of 11 parishes. She is one of the key individuals who have made possible the continuous operation of the Catholic Herald with donations that enable the functioning of the newsroom. Her donations include workstations comprising of an iMac and 3 desktop computers and the LaserJet printer amid paid editorial coverages. Her contribution speaks volumes about her resourcefulness and disposition towards empowerment, qualities which she has displayed even in her position as Deanery Coordinator of the Catholic Women Organization, where her leadership initiatives have been attuned towards improving the welfare of the women through economic empowerment. A business guru and the corporate executive, Mrs. Eloka is the Vice President of Clarion Group of Companies, an organization that employs over 200 Nigerians. As a serial entrepreneur, she is the founder and CEO of a chain of businesses, including Savel Integrated Logistics Nigeria Limited, Blossom International Limited, Vanka Praise International Limited, Flourish Shipping International Limited, Sorrowful Mystery Nigeria Limited, and Luminous Mystery Nigeria Limited. Mrs. Bernadine Ifoma Eloka by education is a biologist, an accountant, and a lawyer. She is an alumna of University of Lagos and National Open University, a thoroughbred professional. She is a chartered accountant, chartered arbitrator, chartered Nigerian Institute of Shipping and Port Management Academy of Nigeria, and member of many professional bodies. She has received various certifications from national and global institutions, including a certificate of efficiency from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, and an award for operational performance of the National Anti-Corruption Corps, ICPC. While she has received numerous awards for her humanitarian activities, by and large, she is recognized eminently for her efforts in the direction of job creation and youth empowerment in Nigeria. Among her accolades are the Peace Ambassador of Nigeria and the Distinguished Corporate Achievers Award. Mrs. Bernadine Ifoma Eloka is the chairperson of the Board of Trustees, Angus Day Home of the Little Child Jesus. We are indeed proud to have Mrs. Bernadine Eloka as a recipient of the Catholic Herald Centenary Most Supportive Catholic Woman Award.
Through Mary, our mother, I need a resounding CWO clap for this award. Jesus, we love you. Yes. Photographer, take it. Aha.
Mother, His grace, all protocols observed. I'm so delighted. I'm so grateful. In fact, I feel highly exalted by this honor. I don't know how it is that the Catholic Herald gave me this kind of a recognition. I'm most grateful. And because my darling husband is here, I'm not expected to say much, but I know scientific, where are you going to? But I know that we are going to send a message through the channel that we normally do it in our own simple way, in our own simple and quiet way and manner. We are most grateful for this award. Right. And to all the big mamas, the friends, particularly our sister advisor, who left all that she has to do today to come and be with me here. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm really, really, really highly honored with this award. Thank you, everyone. And I have to also mention that our company lawyer is here with me, Barrister Emmanuel Osonwa.
All right.
Yeah, and so many other friends. Our COO, Mr. Chimeze Ume, and so many other people. I'm really so grateful to all of you for setting aside your busy schedules today to be here to assist in honoring this award today. Thank you all, and God bless you.
Through Mary, our mother, we succeed. Through Mary, our mother. All right, thank you. God bless you. Thank you, thank you. Is there anyone who would like to say something to further appreciate the award? Thank you. The next award is the Catholic Herald Centenary Lay Person Award. Shall we please welcome? Mothers, we're waiting for you people. Scientific. I greet you, sir. Mothers, we're waiting. Yes. The next recipient, ladies and gentlemen, the Catholic Herald Centenary Lay Person Award. Shall we please, with a resounding applause, welcome to receive this award, Mrs. Chizube Geraldine Igboanugo. One church.
Mrs. Chizube Geraldine Igboanugo is known for her hard work and commitment to the service of the Catholic Church. She has held key leadership positions in the Catholic Church, notably as the first inaugurated chairperson of the Festac Deanery Laity Council, second female chairperson of the Lagos Archdiocesan Laity Council, and predecessor of the incumbent. Mrs. Igboanugo, who hails from Ozubulu in the Ekwusigo local government area of Anambra State, is an alumna of the Lagos State University, where she studied international relations and strategic studies. She is a serial entrepreneur and the director of VJ Nigeria Limited, Caritas Properties Limited, and Nkanyi Farms. At the Catholic Church of the Nativity Festac, she was a different times welfare secretary and vice chairman of the board of lectors, president of the Confraternity of Christian Mothers, and secretary of the Laity Council, second vice chairman and first vice chairman of the Parish Pastoral Council. She was a member of many committees of the Catholic Church and institutions. She has, to her credit, over 30 awards of recognition, excellence, and leadership from associations, deaneries, and societies in the Archdiocese of Lagos. Mrs. Igboanugo is patroness of the Board of Lectors, Board of Church Wardens, and Confraternity of Christian Mothers at the Catholic Church of the Nativity. She is also the national patroness of Catholic Sisters United in Christ. She was presented a St. Thomas More Medal by His Grace, Most Reverend Alfred Adewale Martins, the Archbishop of the Metropolitan See of Lagos. Between 2018 and 2022, when she was chairperson, the Lagos Archdiocesan Laity Council grew by leaps and bounds. Working in partnership with Cygnus, Archdiocese of Lagos, in 2019, her leadership was instrumental to the mobilization of lay leaders and lay representatives for the first Lagos Archdiocesan Communications Week and the inaugural Communications Week in the Catholic Church of Nigeria. Similarly, the Laity Council, under her leadership, distributed 3,000 face masks and 2,000 hand sanitizers in June 2020 when the Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos reopened its parishes and mass centers for worship after months of closure due to the COVID-19 pandemic. She also mobilized the lay societies in the Archdiocese to take responsibility to fence and secure the 36 plots of land gifted to the Archdiocesan Laity Council in Maidan, Lagos. By and large, her tenure was characterized
evidenced by fervent promotion and support for evangelization in the Archdiocese, with the lay organizations and societies playing prominent roles. Igbanugo diligently works for the Archdiocese till date in the Chrism Mass Committee. Her service to the development of the Lagos Archdiocese Laity Council and the Catholic Archdiocese of Lagos as a whole stands her out as a laity matriarch, worthy of the recognition of the Catholic Herald Centenary lay person.
So we invite our Chief Shepherd to once again do us the honor. We are stressing Baba today. Baba, please bear with us. They're going back and forth. Yes. Please make way, make way. After this, we have the big masquerade.
His Grace, Most Reverend Dr. Alfred Adewale Martins, the Archbishop of the Metropolitan See of Lagos, all priests present, my fellow lay people, I am very grateful for this award. And truly, it wasn't just Mrs. Ibanugo that did the job. My executives were fantastic. Mr. Patrick Omodora, Mrs. Ube, Mr. Chris Orakpa, Mrs. Franca Onwara, Mr. Uroko, the Financial Secretary, and all of us, we worked together. We had a common goal, and we fought hard to achieve them. So I'm also grateful to them. This award is for all of us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Herald newspaper. I appreciate the award, and you will hear from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. The next recipient is one of the success story of the Catholic Church. One of the very strong voice as far as the Catholic community is concerned. He is a proud member of the Herald family. He is also a pace setter. He is royalty. Shall we please welcome for the Catholic Herald Centenary Media Personality Award. Please join me to celebrate Aremo Sir Olusoji Robert Joseph Olagunju
Arimosa Olusoji Robert Joseph Olagunju made a unique and far-reaching contribution to the progress of the Catholic Church when he founded the Lumen Christi Television Network and put it to the service of the Catholic Church in Nigeria and Sub-Saharan Africa. The Lumen Christi Television Network, which he founded on May 13, 2014, became pivotal to the Christians and Catholics in particular during the COVID-19 pandemic, following government stay-at-home directive. The Lumen Christi TV network brought live broadcasts of holy masses to millions of Catholic homes across Nigeria. From the Holy Cross Cathedral in Lagos, masses were televised to Catholics not only in Nigeria but across the sub-Saharan African region. In post-COVID-19 pandemic, the Lumen Christi Television Network has grown into a foremost Nigerian-based sub-Saharan Africa Catholic network that consistently broadcasts round-the-clock Catholic-themed programs, including daily Mass, Angelus, Holy Rosary recitations, homilies, reflections, and Catholic teachings. The network broadcasts other programs that enrich the Catholic life, such as the Catechism of the Church, interviews, documentaries, and coverage of major church events in the Archdiocese of Lagos and Nigeria. Today, the Lumen Christi Catholic TV network holds the record of the first indigenous Catholic TV network by a lay faithful in the world.
as a non-commercial TV broadcasting on channel 350 of MultiChoice DSTV and several other platforms across the world. It is an elevated dimension of charity to the church and believers. Sir Olagunju, a prince of Offa Kingdom, Kwara State, was born in 1964 and had his primary and secondary education in Lagos. He has Bachelor of Science degree in Banking and Finance, Master degree in Business Administration, and Doctorate Honoris Causa in Business Administration. He is a Fellow of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria and Chartered Institute of Marketing of Nigeria. In his over 31-year experience as an investment banker, he was an Assistant Registrar, Deputy Registrar, and eventually Acting Registrar and MD of First Registrars Limited, a subsidiary of Union Bank. He played a crucial role in the privatization and commercialization process during the Obasanjo administration. His team conducted successful share offerings, launch and listing of companies such as Zenith, Oceanic and Standard Trust Banks, and Oando PLC on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. In 2021, Pope Francis honored Sir Olagunju by conferring on him the Papal Knighthood of St. Gregory the Great, KSG. He's also a recipient of many honors, including the World Union of Catholic Women Organization Excellence Award, St. Cyprian's Catholic Church Award, Lagos State Government Recognition Award, and Offa Silver Award, among others. The chieftaincy title of Aremo of Offa was conferred on him on January 13, 2024. The Catholic Church recognizes and appreciates his services. He is the winner of the Catholic Herald Centenary Media Personality Award, an honor he well earned.
And so we humbly once again implore His Grace to please present the award. Aremo is not here alone. He's here with his beloved wife and children, Lady Dr. Olabisi Olagunju. Congratulations to the royal family.
Glory to Jesus. Glory, glory, glory to Jesus. We are dedicating this award to Christ Jesus, the light of the world, and of course to our Holy Mother Mary. Having said that, we would like to heartily congratulate the Catholic Herald for a job well done. 100 years is not a joke, and coming up with this initiative means the next 50, 100 years will be better than the last 100 years by the loving grace of God. This award, coming 10 years after the anniversary of Lumen Christi, shows that the Catholic Church appreciates our humble offering to the world. We continue to do our very best with the help of God. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. As for the studio, of course, we have a very, very symbiotic relationship with the Catholic Herald. I will be discussing because we are in the same business, so to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. The donation does not end here. It's a continuous process. And I invite the representatives of the Siwala and Lakmon to talk to us on the project. Lakmon. We have Anonymous supporting the project with the sum of 200,000 naira. Thank you, Anonymous. The Lakmon Vice President Prince Uyekomi Kunle, sir, please would like you to take the microphone to speak on behalf of Lakmon. CMO, Christ is our leader.
CMO, Christ is our leader. On behalf of my president, Barrister Kingsley Ekwem, I would like to support this occasion with a sum of 250,000 naira.
Thank you. CMO, Mrs. Chizube Geraldine Buanugo is supporting the project, and our support has been well noted. Thank you. Thank you. Through Mary Amada, do we have somebody speaking for Siwanla? Thank you. We now call for the vote of thanks. And to do the vote of thanks, may I have the singular honor of inviting to the microphone the editor, Catholic Herald. Please welcome with me Lady Netta Wosu.
Please permit me to stand on the already existing protocol. I feel so honored to move the vote of thanks, and I say thank you for the opportunity you have accorded me to do this. First, I would like to say a big thank you to Almighty God for granting us the grace to organize this event and for granting us a successful event. May His name be praised both now and forever. I would also like to say a very big thank you to our Archbishop, His Grace, Most Reverend Alfred Adewale Martins, for giving us a go-ahead to go with this event. The journey started with him, and all the way on the journey he was with us, encouraging us, supporting us, advising us, and helping us to achieve a successful event. So Your Grace, thank you very much for believing so much in us and for entrusting us with this task. Thank you. I would also like to say a very big thank you to our special guest of honor, our President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that was represented here by the Youth Development Minister. A very big thank you to him, because just 2 days ago, he saw reasons. He saw reasons in terms of supporting this program, and he has signed his Youth Development Minister to come and represent us. And you have the Youth Development Minister. Now we have a collaboration, with us. Now it's not as if the President just came, assigned a youth minister. We have a continuation of the relationship. A relationship has been established. Now we have a relationship, between the presidency and the Catholic Herald. I glorify God for that. I also like to thank the chairman of this occasion, Senator George Akume. When we visited him, he was so nice to us. He welcomed the event and he committed himself. Most of the dignitaries you saw here today, it was Senator George Akume that distributed the letters. And we were with him. He assigned 2 officers to work with us on this project to ensure a smooth success. So we say a big thank you to Senator George Akume. We also say a big thank you to the representative of Senator George Akume, Mr. Christopher Tucker. Thank you very much for representing Senator Akume nicely. If Senator Akume were here, he would have done same. He would have stayed to the end of the event. So thank you very much. We also like to say a big thank you to the governor of Lagos State. We say a big thank you to the IGP that sent representatives. We say a big thank you to the awardees that have been with us on this journey. What we have here today was partly contributed by some of the awardees. We say a big thank you to them for supporting us. We thank the knights and ladies of St. Mulumba that are actually the backbone of what we've experienced here today. We say a big thank you to Sir Soji Olagunju that has supported us via communication, ensuring that all messages go out. Sir Olagunju, thank you very much. And to everyone that has contributed to the success of this event, we say a very, very big thank you to you all. To the awardees, I want to make an appeal that a relationship has been established like what we've had with the presidency. Please do not just go away. Be with the Herald to ensure that we have another successful centenary celebration. Another 100 years, I mean. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you. Just before the closing prayer, we will have to cut the centenary cake. And after cutting it, we then call for the closing prayer. So we invite His Grace. We also invite the chairman of the occasion, awardees here present, monsieurs here present, reverend fathers here present, reverend sisters. Please do join in the cutting of the cake. The awardees here present, the knights and ladies. Awardees, please. So, Lady Netta, please join. All right. Your Grace, hands on the knife. Can we all stretch our hands as we invoke the Trinity, praying and hoping that we shall all continue to be propagators of Christ's gospel here on earth, and all we do to support Catholic Herald shall be to the glory of God and to the blessing of humanity. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Amen. We now hand the microphone to the Chancellor of the Archdiocese, Very Reverend Monsieur Obanla, to please lead us in the closing prayer, and our Chief Shepherd, His Grace Most Reverend Dr. Alfred Adewale Martins, will give the blessing. Shall we please rise on our feet?
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Our help is in the name of the Lord. Christ, yesterday and today, the beginning and the end, Alpha and Omega. All times belong to you and all the ages. To you be glory and praise forever. We thank you, Lord, for the celebration of today, when we remember the establishment of this medium, the Catholic Herald newspaper. Remember the founding fathers, remember all the actors, all those that have played roles the past 100 years. And so today we celebrate history. We ask you to bless all those who proclaim your word. We ask you to continue to bless this project. We ask you to continue to give us the eloquence and grace to proclaim your good news, even to the end of times. This is our prayer through Christ our Lord. We fly to their patronage.
The Lord be with you. May the blessing, the peace, and the joy of the Almighty God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit come down upon you all today and remain with you forevermore. Let us bless the Lord.
May I invite His Grace to the cake stand, and a representative of the chairman to please come to the cake stand to cut the cake of the anniversary. Let's do it once more at the closing. Just the two of them. Them.